Hey guys, hope all is well. Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. In the last 7 minutes or 8 minutes of this video, I will be going over charts with Vechain, ADA, XLM, XRP, and maybe a little bit of silver as well. And I will also be referencing some things that I addressed in this video. So if you don't want to cover the news, feel free to fast forward. And again, I appreciate it as always. So the Federal Reserve Fed Payments Improvement, guys, we are on the Faster Payments Task Force website on fedpaymentsimprovement.org. And as we scroll down, we know that Ryan Zagone of Ripple was, within this group as well. Should be no surprise, and I've shown this before, but I do want to reference this before kind of covering some additional points. So we have ACI Worldwide. They do process $14 trillion per day. We know how much that is. We've heard their execs say it's approximately $5 million as fast as you can snap your finger consistently, and that is potentially something that could go over these DLT systems, such as the XRP ledger. All right, and we know ACI Worldwide teamed up with Nacha for the whole ACH network. No surprise, guys, whether it's low value payment systems or high value, we all have these hub and spoke models, multi-currency approach, 24/7 real-time gross settlement. Accenture, think of David Treat, Digital Dollar Project, Ripple's first investor, helping all of these groups. All right, so now when we go to search, we can literally just type in Ripple so you guys see. And as you know, Ryan Zagone. All right. So I know you guys have seen tons of YouTube clips, video clips of him speaking. His famous quotes of proof of work does not work kind of goes hand in hand with the World Economic Forum's belief of, obviously, with, going green, a lot more, climate change, a little more friendly. And obviously, many proof of work projects are trying to make the migration to proof of stake. All right. So Ryan Zagone right here, as you guys know, I want to read this thread. And this kind of goes into what I want to talk about with Mojo Loop, Interledger Protocol, and additional news. So right here. 1. A bank strategy view for discussion. Tear it up, Twitter. Many bank, fintech, again, financial technology partnerships coming in 2 hours, referring to kind of swell. Obviously, there's going to be a few days. Really interesting. And notice that his background, of course, if you ever looked at his LinkedIn as well, Deloitte, one of the big four, they've also helped Ripple with the T24 stack, with Temenos. I mean, if you guys don't know, if you're a newcomer into XRP, just understand that the XRP ledger, XRP, on-demand liquidity, RippleNet as a whole, the entire software is already integrated with essentially the majority of the world, the entire Euro system. Just keep that in mind. And I'm going to keep going over news that many people already know because there's newcomers coming to the space every single day as price begins to appreciate. All right, so banks are being squeezed by, again, the current structure today is very centralized. So many open infrastructure projects, the COVID accelerating the digital needs. Obviously, we talked about that, the Bank of International Settlements, suddenly tighter budgets. So all these changes are really squeezing banks to, finally be pressured to change. It will happen with or without them. These tier one banks can control, try to control and, remain in power for as long as possible, but it will not last forever, guys. Fintechs, this new technology of decentralization, or at least more so distributed, is going to level the playing field just like the internet did for information. Again, democratizing data. This is going to be democratizing finance, value, the internet of value, all right? Financial inclusion. With this squeeze, and to keep fintech and big tech firms from taking further wallet share, banks to lean on partnerships that can rapidly be deployed and keep, and again, just think single software rollout, cloud, etc. Keep the bank front of mind for the customer. Many past projects digitize the front end, with banks, but the back end remained unchanged and now a pain point. It is extremely inefficient. Good times and good deals for obviously fintechs that modernize or outsource back-end processes to improve the full bank CX, all right? So the Chase Marqeta deal is a good example, and this allows rapid virtual card issuance that can immediately be used with Apple Pay. We'll talk about also another RippleNet partner that integrated Google Pay. These are all examples, all right, for, building out that open infrastructure, allowing interoperability, the biggest keyword for all of this. Ideal for corporates, small and medium enterprises in a remote world, matching the immediate card use capability of Apple Card. And again, Peter Pumpkin Eater, common guy in the Twitter community, XRP takes 3 to 5 seconds to transact versus 66 minutes. Now, not to bash Bitcoin, I wish all crypto assets well, but in terms of solving the true payments problem, maybe Bitcoin can be a store of value, but XRP is obviously the most institutionally adopted, well over $1 billion in payment flows used by institutions today. You can't say the same for other assets. All right, there's a blockchain trilemma. It's not just about, speed, cost, scalability, governance. There's a lot of things at play that different groups will value, and the use cases are just getting started. It might not just be for payments. It might be for lending. It might be for taking collateralized debt positions. It might be for actually running central bank digital currencies on top of them. We are just getting into this landscape of exploring what DeFi truly could be. And again, DeFi is decentralized finance. All right, so let's keep going. Right here, an example, XRP Crypto Wolf sharing on Finextra. Again, I kind of read the article, short and sweet. We've talked about Neum. We've talked about, Instarem, I believe. They launched Google Pay integration. All right, card users will be able to make payments via Google Pay on Android phones, tablets, and watches. So notice Singapore going to be a fintech hub of the future, if not already, in my opinion. We're going to see more and more of this. I know even with Samsung phones with integrations for, Stellar Lumens and other digital asset wallets, it's going to be more and more prevalent. 2017 was, just a speculative bull run, maybe a test, maybe just an algorithm running, whatever you guys believe. We haven't seen anything yet. This is just the beginning. The Internet of Information, the .com bubble, whether, 5 to 10, trillion dollars. This is the Internet of Value. So just understand that it's going to potentially be 10 to 100x the size of that. If you look at the market shares we've gone over, whether it's, actual, not residential, but kind of corporate real estate. You could talk about the equities market. We could talk about the derivatives market, which is highly intangible. That's $700 trillion alone. These asset classes, or crypto assets, are going to swallow up these assets. All right, so right here, Mojaloop. This is mojaloop.io. So we know we're familiar with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. As we know, they adopted Ripple's Creation Interledger Protocol, a protocol to bridge all these ledgers, because there's not going to be one ledger that every company, country, bank agrees on. That's just not how things work. So it's just going to be a protocol, just like the internet is internet, an internetwork of networks. A network of networks, I should say. Interledger is really just going to be kind of a network of ledgers, between, bridging all of these ledgers to communicate and interoperate. All right. So the protocols are going to be winning, and they're agnostic. They allow, any asset, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, tokenized gold, tokenized real estate, stocks, you name it. So right here, again, I am Legion sharing this thread, the same link I was just showing with the Gates Foundation and Mojaloop. And I just want to emphasize this, and we'll talk about, some of the people that are saying these quotes, because it goes really, really deep. I would leave you with this. When we say interoperability, we mean true cross-domain interoperability across payment platforms. For example, small credit unions and savings groups connected to large commercial banks, connected to mobile money operators, and potentially across borders and across currencies. All right? All with the support of national regulators and central banks. Remember Ripple, top 40 to 50 banks in the world already. We had a huge portion of India in the pipeline. Should be no surprise. And also pay attention to what the BRICS nations are doing, as they're straying away from the US dollar dominance. The US dollar, if you looked at the index, what are we? At the lowest point in roughly 3 years, as gold is surpassing all-time high. This is not a coincidence, guys. We are witnessing some great change ahead. I don't care if you think this is hype. I simply feel that we are just on the precipice of something huge. And I'm sure you are well aware of that. Should be no surprise. All right. So right here, again, I'm Legion sharing this. So mobile money interoperability in sub-Saharan Africa, talking about Mojaloop, guys, it's all teamed up with Ripple, Hyperledger, Interledger Protocol, you name it. Talking about the central banks, bridging them, the African Development Bank. But by the way, watch the Asian Development Bank, ADB, along with the Asian, Investment Infrastructure Bank. Watch them in tandem with HSBC as well. Right here. So with the support of these groups, we have Mowali, mobile wallet interoperability, built on top of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's open source platform, Mojaloop, guys, connecting all these payment hubs. We've talked about Africa, the unbanked populations. These groups stand to make a lot of money and also help a lot of people. Right here. So Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has released Mojaloop. That means one loop. It is Swahili, Moja, which adopts Ripple's Interledger Protocol, open source, creating payment platforms for unbanked to access digital financial services. Right? Level 1 project to level the economic playing field by crowding in expertise and resources to build inclusive payment models to benefit the world's poor. All right? So it's not just the IMF. It's not just the ECB. They're all saying this vernacular. Level the playing field for all. And this is going to be a multiple tiered approach. It doesn't just have to do with finance, but in terms of, us getting a return on our investment, this is what I am, most focused on for now. All right, so now something interesting is this. We've talked about this guy, Konstantin Peric. He was literally the chief architect of SwiftNet, essentially the entire legacy infrastructure platform that Ripple stands to either replace or update today. If that happens, all the crazy high speculation, speculative price predictions you've ever seen for XRP are not far-fetched whatsoever. So again, saying this, we've gone over him many times, probably 7 videos ago. If you guys want to check it out as well, you can just type in like Ripple XRP SwiftNet, Kevin Cage, I'm sure you'll find it. So interoperability of digital payments has been the toughest hurdle for the financial services industry to overcome. With Mojaloop, again, built on ILP, our technology partners have finally achieved a solution that can apply to any service, and we invite banks and payment industries to explore and test this too. Again, they're talking about walled gardens. They're all payment silos. They cannot interoperate. All right, DLT will be massive. Just repeating that for newcomers. Right here, guys. So on Unstoppable Domains, I just wanted to kind of send a test. So I sent cryptocurrency, just a little Ethereum. Ignore that network fee. That was cringeworthy. To kevincage.crypto. So I did integrate all of this and just was testing it with some other addresses that I wanted to. So I was working with, again, Rule XRP. Also has a YouTube channel. So James Rule XRP. So definite follow. And we were just kind of going back and forth and playing with this with PID. Unstoppable Domains. Again, links are in the video description if you want to create one. So instead of sending, crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Vechain to a single long serial number, I can just send it to kevincage.crypto as my type of decentralized website as well. And something cool is we have this gentleman, so Evoking Heel, just pointing out that you don't have to test it. And I personally wanted to test it to record it for this, video. But again, you don't have to test it to make sure that it works. You can actually just go to viewblock.io and make sure that that domain is tied to that cryptocurrency address. And again, thanks for pointing that out. So on viewblock.io, I'm literally just going to type in my domain, so kevincage.crypto, and we'll see if there's anything that pulls up that's tied to it. And as we can see, that's Unstoppable Domains. You can also click this before doing so. And we'll just see which cryptos I have tied to my account. Just as a test, I'll add a lot more cryptocurrencies. I don't really have anything within these wallets. They're just on cold storage as well. But just wanted to show you that these are currently live. So if I did send, Ethereum to this, it would go to, this or my main address. And if I send Vechain to this kevincage.crypto, it would appear here. So again, just supporting the ecosystem with Ripple's open payment coalition, and thought I'd show you that for anyone that's already utilizing this. Again, viewblock.io. All right, we'll keep going now. So right here, Matthew LINY showing something interesting in what kind of institutions are looking towards. So institutional adoption of digital asset trading. Now, this might bore some of you, but this is some of the biggest news and something that I'm most interested in. This is what I want. I want regulations to come. I want the institutional floodgates to open, so to speak, just like State Street, that custodies 1/3 of the world's wealth, roughly $30 trillion of electronic wealth today, said that this space is going to trickle, and then flood once the gates open. And that is what I fully expect with these open sourced protocols. This is the future. All right. So XRP was was used fifth. Could regulations be the reason it was ranked 5th? Because it provides the most liquidity. I remember Bitstamp was one of the first to run a Ripple gateway back in the day. And CME Group, again, makes me think of Miguel Valles of Ripple, well, formerly Ripple, and head of XRP liquidity in markets. Study find that liquidity is the #1 reason institutions use digital assets. I'm going to go over this at the end of the video when charting, talking about some micro cap coins. I want to reference liquidity, so be sure to listen to that. All right. So just to speed through this, again, institutional adoption, CME Group, Bitstamp, Equity, I think that's how you say it. I have no idea. Digital asset exchanges, talking about what's important again. So user interface and experience, ease of connectivity, integrity and security, liquidity, digital asset custody, cold storage, supported by clearing provider, speed and performance, fee structure, listed digital assets, reliability of uptime, regulation by an approved body, and customer service. All right, notice that this is what they kind of consider most important for an actual exchange. And the top reasons using an exchange, essentially the same thing that we've gone over. Liquidity is #1. All right, security, obviously, connectivity. But notice speed and performance. Remember, XRP compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin, the reason it has some decent trading volume, and I expect it to surpass both in the near future, is that because when the bull runs do come, Bitcoin, instead of taking 10 minutes to 2 hours to send, it's I've experienced waiting 2 days to receive Bitcoin. And if you're sending, I don't even know. I mean, you can get $50 fees every time you send Bitcoin. With XRP, it's literally a fraction of a penny. So Why would people want to send Bitcoin to an exchange and wait a day when you can just send XRP to an exchange and then convert to whatever asset? In terms of, slippage, it's well worth it. So that's kind of where we're seeing. We've already seen articles and obviously a lot of information showing that more traders are actually utilizing XRP, even Bitcoin and Ethereum holders. So time will tell, guys. Again, at the end of the day, it's not about tribalism. It is simply cold hard math and which assets are going to be used for what. And that's what the future will bring. That is exactly what institutions are going to value, specifically as Ripple's, validators, the holdings all become more distributed and decentralized over time, just like the internet with that top-down approach, how it was built. Many people don't agree with it initially, and all of a sudden in the future, we're going to realize, wow, how did I miss that? All right, so right here, digital asset instrument preferences, volatility, arbitrage opportunities, unfavored exchanges. Interesting. All right, but just keep in mind, guys, there's a lot to consider. Arbitrage is something that's not too common in the stock market. But again, I did appreciate Matthew Liony for sharing all of this, so definite follow. And I just want to finish this up. Again, XRP is ranked 8th most popular, so still has tons of upside there compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. I think speed, scalability, speak for themselves. All right, also with CME, ICE, again, backed, guys, we'll talk about them. They're reported to be considering launching Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple contracts as well. We're going to see more and more of these type of products, future products, hopefully in even more derivative products as well. All right, and I guess, future swaps, options, that's a part of the derivatives market as well. So my bad. All right, so right here, XRP Crypto Wolf, for news that you guys may have not known. So Bakkt reported the largest single day volume for its physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts. It was an 84% from its last all-time high in December 2019. Could this be a delayed reaction from obviously the news from the OCC? Potentially. I mean, from, a fractal wise, it seemed like Bitcoin is ready to blow at any point. People think that it does have to close the gap and kind of come closer down to 10K before reaching, 12 and 14K. Yeah, I see that entirely possible. I'm just more interested in what the altcoins are going to be doing in the meantime. All right, so new all-time daily high, guys, worth $114 million. Exciting times for sure. All right. Next, daily hodl, daily hodl. Hold on for dear life for those of you that don't know. Again, just talking about Craig DeWitt of Ripple. I believe he's product of Ripple, director of product. Yep, rolling out Payburner. If you guys want to check it out, again, it's just an e-commerce payment platform. Just wanted to mention it and support it. They do integrate with PayID as well. So we have Crypto Cowboy, which I believe is his Twitter handle, and then a $sign instead of an @sign for email. I think PayID is, kind of your email for cryptocurrency per se on different platforms. So it's cool to see that they're integrating this. Again, they are available with a WordPress plugin, thereby already making it available to roughly 455 million people, all right, or websites. So significantly more people. All right, just wanted to share that, kind of speed through that. And then last but not least, I just want to give a shout out to Anders Lundberg, guys. I'm not signed in currently, but definite follow for just some cool quick clips regarding XRP, Ripple, all things, kind of just facts related to exactly what founders have said in the past. I know that he made a really good point with all of the news lately, talking about, small banks currently, guys, just like Ryan Zagone was mentioning, are paying the largest banks to hold their pre-funded accounts for them, the Nostro and Vostro accounts. Now, Polysign, which we've already seen clips now speaking at the International Monetary Fund, it's a done deal. Polysign is essentially a digital bank, multi-signatures, highly secure, and he was speculating, what if a similar relationship would be that of Polysign? So instead of holding all the pre-funded accounts, it could hold a fraction of those funds that are tied up, allowing additional revenue opportunities, and again, just holding it in XRP is multi-currency. That way there's, simple spreads, it's quick, scalable, secure, all on a distributed ledger network. So then these payment providers do the transfer, and the banks don't even ever have to touch the cryptocurrency. Again, this is just a thought. We're seeing regulation by the day favorable for the space. Whether you believe XRP, whether you believe, ADA, Tezos, Casino Coin, any project, I wish you well. Just know that regulations are coming step by step, and by the time this is all over, we're going to wonder, how fast or, how did we miss this? Again, we had Congressman Darren Soto even mention, saying that we support the integration of cryptocurrency into the financial system. This is allowing major financial institutions, FIs, to hold this currency, and it's going to lead to further legitimization of cryptocurrency, guys. This is truly a snowball effect. The snowball is going down the hill, gathering momentum and getting bigger by the day. All right, now let's talk about some charts. All right, last but not least, to finish up the video with some charting, guys, I have Cardano and Vechain in front of me on the weekly. So obviously this is more of a macro view. No surprise, just like we've been talking about, and I'm sure many other channels have been addressing this, is that most of these assets, as they're repeating this fractal, are starting to cut through and reach those all-time highs once again. We still have a long way to go, don't get me wrong. But as we see from weekly, you're seeing that these assets are cutting through. This yellow, that's the 50 moving average. The 100, that's again, 100 moving, the blue. And then obviously, we'll potentially see a 200 MA being drawn here shortly. Just like Vechain didn't have much data, we can see that it did cut through that 100 MA right there. So expect that other assets will do the same. I know many people have been making this call for quite some time, and it looks like it's coming out into fruition, just like Mr. Level Up's been calling since, maybe even before, but expecting it to come in the weeks ahead from 13 cents and see Cardano anywhere from maybe 17-cent mark. Now, keep in mind, there's some big wicks on the weekly going up to like 19 cents. So right now, from let's just say 14.1, give or take, if we went to 17 cents, I mean, you could expect, maybe another 20% or so. And if we did wick all the way up to that little wick over there, that could be potentially a 40% move right there at 19.5 cents. All right, so there's really not too much resistance up at these levels. So we don't know if it's going to skyrocket. We don't know what's going to happen. Could be dictated based off of the overall market with Bitcoin. And the same concept with Vechain. It is just breathing. I expect it to make higher highs as well. These both are projects that I think are worth a gamble and highly probable for success. Same with XRP. Nothing's guaranteed. This is, not financial advice whatsoever. Just showing you some trends that I'm seeing. I do want to kind of pull up XRP briefly just to kind of show you something. I know with, swell, good news, we saw a little pump. To me, for my large bag holdings, it's nice, but I'm not really interested in these, 20% moves. I'm interested, obviously, in the future, in true utility. But obviously, you guys can take advantage of this market, diversify, do what's best for you. Remember, I was joking around a few weeks ago how, XRP and silver were kind of, tied to the hip and rhyming. And I said that, XRP has to catch up to silver because silver is roughly, $24 right here. And it looks like we are. I still have my old Fibonacci that I drew in that previous video showing that I do believe that, silver will approach all-time high. Just, it's all right in front of us, guys. Don't be surprised. The most undervalued metal in the world. And even from a TA perspective, it's looking bullish. Who was it? Someone, a gentleman on the news was saying that silver and gold are going to tank once again. We'll see. Let's just kind of revisit this by end of year. Short term, it's anybody's guess. All right, so notice we're 23.8, silver's around 24, and we have cut through on the weekly through this 50 MA. Next up is the blue, and interestingly enough, just like lining up with everybody that's been saying this for months at this point, whether it's Mr. Level Up, Blockchain Backer, any other TA guy you guys do watch, notice the blue 100 MA, 29 cents. All right, so from that move, I mean, yeah, it's nice. It could be another 25% give or take. I think we could potentially get hung up here again. We do have to get through that weekly wick of 34 cents for me to know that it is truly game on. Now notice that they have the 200 moving average, this red line. We don't know where that is in particular. We could look at the weekly pivots as always and just kind of give you a better idea. So notice we're going to the pivot point and its R3 is all the way at 60 cents. We had ADA, we had Vechain, Link, we had certain projects already bust through that point. All right, XLM is also ahead. I've shown you that. People make fun of it, but I do believe that XLM is gonna get a big boost in the future. It's already at its blue line, so that's where XRP would be at 29 cents. So don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on these projects. Obviously, if you have your long-term bags and you're holding, do what's best for you. I'm just trying to take advantage of the volatility in the market because this bull run is only happening once, and I'm personally extremely excited. All right, so notice its R3 is 20 cents. So I think I've shown this before, but again, from current price to R3, just for fun, is 100% return, okay? Current price from now to its R3 is 158%, okay? So we're getting a little better return with XRP right now. But if you were in XLM more so beforehand and then swung it over, you might be in a better position. So you guys can kind of, weigh the pros and cons. Just wanted to share that with you. And we'll keep an eye out. Hopefully, I'd imagine that we'll get hung up at that 28 cent, 30 cent mark for maybe, a couple weeks again before reaching those higher highs. But I have huge expectations for this market, and long term, the assets that solve real problems and derive value from true utility are going to have the highest returns. Obviously, I've kind of gone over in this video the importance of liquidity and different groups that value it. We know that in the 2017 bull run, we had projects like Verge, returned well over 1,000,000%. This market's going to be a little different now as it's maturing. We could still have assets like that. But remember, just like that study in, what was it, 2017, 2018? I think 2018. JP Morgan did a study, guys, and I repeat this a lot, that when the market cap of cryptocurrency was 300 billion, that's not how much money was actually in the market available. If everybody wanted to sell, guess how much money was actually in the market, even though it was valued at 300 billion? Roughly 6 billion. Divide 300 billion by 50, guys. That's unbelievable. So there's not as much liquidity as you think. So you might not be able to get that money out immediately. So why am I so bullish and why am I so confident in some of the main projects? Because if you potentially do have $1 million, $10 million, $100 million tied up in these assets, you want assets that have many on-ramps, utility, and tons of market makers to provide liquidity at all times so that you can buy, sell relatively quickly, whether it's over the counter, you name it. All right. That's what's important to me. If you guys want to, score and make $1 million from a micro cap altcoin that's, ranked number 300, it's possible. And I wish you well. I personally don't want to risk too much. Is it, maybe I'll throw, $1,000 or $5,000 at it and cross my fingers, but I'm not expecting to get that back anytime soon. And with the major alts that have proven and have obviously the biggest teams behind them, I'm a lot more confident in holding those assets, and obviously whether holding them for life and spending them off a crypto debit card or potentially just withdrawing them, paying taxes and taking profit. So we'll simply see how this goes, guys. I do expect that XLM should be hitting 20 cents, just like many people in the coming weeks. I have a big bet on some other altcoins, and Bitcoin just sucked them right up when Bitcoin, so it's still over, 11,000. It sucked them back up after they had some nice 40% returns. So I'm really hoping that I can see that pump once again, and time will tell. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and any indicators that you guys, possibly prefer, or anything that I might not be seeing whatsoever. Again, I'm not really showing you what I'm seeing here. I'm just keeping it super high level. Everybody has their own way. So with that, I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.